attached to getting cute. The Dallas Mavericks have now, in a month since we have seen Luka Doncic traded in that blockbuster trade at the beginning of February, a couple days after February started, the Dallas Mavericks lost by 24 last night to the Sacramento Kings. Kyrie Irving hurt his knee. Kyrie Irving was able to get up and hit his free throws and then was helped off the court. It is now being reported that Kyrie Irving has suffered a torn ACL and is out for the foreseeable future, including the rest of this NBA season. Then all of a sudden it comes out a little later on after this Kyrie news that Anthony Davis is going to, quote, huddle up, according to Shams Charania of the ESPN, huddle up with his team and determine whether it is the right move to come back and play this season or just to shut down, reset, repeat, and get healthy in the offseason for next season. So if you're sitting there and you're the Dallas Maverick fan, you were a grand total of 9 months ago in the NBA Finals against a team that was better than you, but knocked off a bunch of good teams, including the Thunder, in the playoffs, and a couple games away. You never really were in the series, but you're a couple games away, nonetheless. Now, all of a sudden, 9 months later, your two best players are down for the count. Your superstar face of the franchise was traded away. And you're going to be hanging around the lottery for the foreseeable future, at least for this year, at the 10th spot in the play-in. That's where the Mavericks are now versus where they were a little under 9 months ago. I don't know if there's been a worse mismanagement era, 3-month period, 2-month period, that has crippled the franchise in recent memory like the Dallas Mavericks have dealt with.
It's tough to think of one. And as far as the Mavericks, when you look at them trading Luka Doncic, it cost them maybe a year and a half, right? I mean, you're going to lose this whole year, and then next year, is there, Kyrie torn ACL?
He's not going to be ready.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He'll be ready maybe by Christmas.
So when is he going to be back? Hopefully Christmas, we think. Anthony Davis, when he's not with LeBron James, is he going to be healthy? I know that's kind of an unfair thing to say, but the Mavericks went from being a title contender with Luka Doncic to now probably in the lottery, and this is different from the last time they were in the lottery was when you had Luka and Kyrie and they were new, and it was a planned lottery. This is a complete nightmare in the sense of Anthony Davis, in the sense of Kyrie Irving, and needing this thing to work out because you got rid of one of the biggest superstars in the NBA. How many times have we heard, the Dallas Mavericks better win a championship? If you're going to trade Luka Doncic, you better win a championship. Well, here we are, and they're more on their way to the lottery for the next couple of years than I think they are championship ready. Now, we'll see if Davis and Kyrie can get healthy and get this team back in the saddle next year at some point. But, Colin, for the next foreseeable future, they are done, and that's what happened. That's what happens when you trade one of the best players in the NBA.
When you play around with the basketball gods, they make you pay, and the basketball gods have made their opinion abundantly clear on the dark cloud that is now over that Dallas Mavericks organization. They have to deal with it with the Cowboys, and now you got to deal with it with the Dallas Mavericks. A complete, utter mismanagement, and you got to feel for the fan. The fan was sitting there thinking, all right, well, based off rumor, based off interpretation, it was apparent that there wasn't even a conversation about Luka Doncic's alcohol problem or his eating problem or his weight issue or him being in shape. That was all speculation from the top down, and there was never, allegedly, conversations between either side. And now they shipped him off, thinking that, all right, well, defensively we want to be a rock-solid defensive team. Jason Kidd looked like he was being held hostage in the introductory interview. Anthony Davis played well, but played a grand total of 3 quarters in the first game he played for the Mavericks and then got hurt, and we haven't seen him since. And now Kyrie Irving, who has been somewhat of a revitalized version of himself since he has gotten to Dallas, but now he suffers a season-ending knee injury, and you got to feel for the guy. You got to feel for the fan, too. Because now the Dallas Mavericks are going to be scraping at the bottom of the lottery, entering the Cooper Flag sweepstakes. Mm-hmm. That is where the Dallas Mavericks are now versus where they were 2 months ago. And it wasn't pretty, but Luka was hurt, and he got back in the thick of things, and they would have been all right. Because you always have that bona fide star. Right. Now, all of a sudden, you're going to enter 10 months from now, and you're going to have two 32-year-olds coming off season-ending injuries if Anthony Davis does get shut down, and I assume he will. I don't know why he would play.
Why would he? Yeah, with
and
Kyrie
the same
out.
thing could happen to Kyrie. I don't know why he would play. Go tank, get a good pick in the draft. But now you got two guys who are 32-year-olds who have no playing time together, and you're going to have to figure it out at some point in mid-year to try to make a run, because then you fast forward another year, and then both these guys are entering father time. Neither of these two players are going to sniff the longevity of somebody like LeBron or Durant. So off of that, I got to assume that this prime is only a couple of years, and they're in a lot of trouble. I can't, in terms of a miserable fan base at the moment, you got to feel for them.
And both of them have miserable injury history. Like Anthony Davis, miserable. I know not with the Lakers, but before that, Pelicans, whatever, bad injury history. Kyrie Irving, dating back to college. I know he was nonetheless pretty healthy with the Cavaliers. He was injured with the Celtics. God only knows what happened with the Nets. Was he injured? Was he just not playing? But are these guys going to be able to stay healthy? Are they going to be stars that you're even going to be able to rely on? They need a face of the franchise. They don't need a face. They need a face of the franchise.
They need health. They need health.
I think they need their 1A player. Kyrie was a 1A player 2-3 years ago. Anthony Davis, I thought he turned into a 1A player.
He was great. He had 27 and 15 by the time he left the game. So he's great. So you can't say that. That's not fair. But the idea is they're not on the court. That I agree with.
I don't think Anthony Davis is winning you a title. So
my point is neither of those two are going to be playing the rest of the season.
I don't think Anthony Davis is capable of winning a title. They need their 1A. Luka. And it was the reason they were in that title game. Now you could say that Luka maybe the ownership was mad he didn't play defense. His attitude was bad in the finals. I remember the stories coming out of the finals last year. It said Luka was immature. Whatever, he's a young kid. But to just go up and trade your face of the franchise
without even talking to him.
It's just insanity.
That ownership has put themselves in such a black cloud with the organization and the fan base that they're not going to listen to a thing they say the rest of the way. That Dumont family, one of the worst owners. They talk about blowing it all up because you think it's going to work out. And now all of a sudden, Nico Harrison's going to be their fall guy, and the next guy after that is not going to want to take that job. And then all of a sudden, everybody's going to turn to that ownership, and Mark Cuban's going to be rolling over thinking that why the hell did I sell this team?
Right, and we could split hairs about AD and whatever. We could both agree that Luka is a top 3, darn near top 2 player in the NBA. You don't trade your face of the franchise like that without a plan. It seemed like that the Dallas Mavericks did this on a whim, and we're just it seemed like it came down from ownership, and it's just like, yep, get rid of him. Oh, okay, we're gonna get rid of him. All right, I got this deal. Should we go ask anybody else? Nope, looks good. It sounds. It's just wanted him out of the building as quickly as possible, which I just can't fathom. And it is karma. I do believe in karma, all right? This is karma
That's
for
the basketball gods making it clear.
For the way that they dealt with him, and it was embarrassing for Luka. It was embarrassing for Luka to not know that he was going to get traded and not even to have the organization not tell him anything. And I just... It's still something I don't make sense of. It's still one of those situations, Colin, where you sit here, you scratch your head, and you go, okay, if you had a problem with Luka and his weight, talk to him about it. If you had a problem with his drinking or whatever the hell it is, talk to him about it. You don't just trade one of the best players in the NBA.
I don't remember. I mean, other than the Deshaun Watson trade, those two are, in terms of backfiring almost immediately, it's laughable how immediately.